The Power Play Post Show is on the air, covering minor league hockey since 2003, and now covering the Binghamton Black Bears with news, reactions, and in-depth interviews only heard here. And now, from the Box Studios in Kirkwood, New York, here are your hosts of the Power Play Post Show, Bob Howard and Taylor Welch.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Power Play Post Show. This is the show for December 18th, 2025. This is season 15, episode number 29, and episode number 543 in the long-running podcast. That is the Power Play Post Show. Hello, everyone. I am Bob Howard. She is
Taylor Welch.
And welcome back to the Power Play Post Show. You just heard Rob Lapolos's voice, and I was actually just listening to Rob Lapolos, believe it or not, as Gavin Yates is playing right now with the Adirondack Thunder in the ECHL. So a very cool, special congratulations to Gavin for getting that call up. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But Taylor, if I understand math correctly, and most of the time I do, we're only 8 days away from Christmas.
Yeah, I haven't really been counting. I still have a lot of stuff to get done before Christmas, so it's kind of been in the back of my mind. But yeah, it's coming up real quick, which is great because I can use it against my child to make her behave, because she gets in her little moods. She acts just like her dad. Don't let him tell you otherwise. But I'm very excited. Having a child and watching the Christmas spirit in her it's been so much fun.
That's very cool. I will announce right now, I will not be at Friday's game. I know it's the whiteout game. They're wearing the white jerseys, and I really want to get Tyson and Connor McAnanama in the white jerseys for pictures because I don't have them because the last game that we had the white jerseys on here in the Visions Veterans Memorial Arena, Connor did not play. It was Wyatt Friedlander and Dominic Toumé, and Tyson was obviously on injured reserve. So was Zach Sirota. So I will not be able to get pictures of those guys for future graphics and things of that nature, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. But it is the whiteout game. I will not be there because I will be making Christmas cookies. So and there's a lot of fun in that. It's a tradition I've been doing with my niece for a very, very long time, and I do not break that tradition for anything because if I did, she would be upset and probably throw tears, and then I would cry, and then it would just get ugly, and So I will not be at the game on Friday night. I will be watching. I'll have it on in the background, and I will be at the game on Saturday for sure.
Well, and I mean, as you've already told me, you've got probably the most important job when it comes to those cookies, so you're definitely needed. You got to time that just right and make sure they come out perfect.
Yes, I do man the oven, and it's a lot of hard work, but it's fun. We enjoy it. We take some great pictures during the whole thing. A lot of times we'll dress in Christmas type outfits, especially my niece. She'll have a Christmas dress on of some sort, and sometimes they're like ugly sweater dresses, if that makes sense. But either way, she looks great, and it's a great time, and we have a good time. But we do have.
So I have to ask,
yes,
because when I used to make Christmas cookies, now it's kind of like the kids and the grandkids do it now. When we used to do it with my aunt, there was always one person that had to make a yellow snowman because my mom and my aunt always told us we could not make a yellow snowman. So somebody always did. Is there anything that you do or decorate a cookie in some way that you probably shouldn't, or you get in trouble for doing so?
No, we don't have anything like that. We actually don't decorate a lot of cookies. We just make cookies, and then we package them up in tins and give them to all of our family members that we do for Christmas. So my niece, every once in a while, not every year, but like every other year or every couple years, what she'll do is she'll make gingerbread cookies and she'll decorate those. But we just flat out just make the cookies because within a couple of days, they're all going to be gone anyways, because this family just does not know how to save a cookie. Now, my father will actually put some of the cookies in the freezer, freeze them until the summertime, and then he pulls them out. And he finally admitted that it just makes him remember and reminds him of Christmas and being around us at that time. So I thought that was very sweet. Not trying to get mushy here at all, folks, trust me. But yeah, so we don't have anything weird like that with the yellow snowman.
Maybe it's just my family. I have a very strange family, so it doesn't surprise me there.
I think we all have weirdness in all of our families. It's completely normal to do so. There's probably many things about my family. My brother and I don't speak very good English when we're around each other. It's amazing. I may sound good on the podcast, and I'm trying to do the best I can to speak eloquently and articulate everything perfectly. But when I'm around my brother, it's like a bunch of hillbillies in the redneck woods of Harpersville, New York, and we just, English is just like thrown out the window, and we're speaking some sort of Howard abridged dictionary language that doesn't really make sense to anybody but us, which is kind of funny.
Now it just makes me want to listen and see if I can decipher what's going on.
There are words I think that we've made up that just nobody uses but us. All right, let's get started. All right, the Power Play Post is available on all major podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, YouTube, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Just search Power Play Post Show on your favorite app, and don't forget to subscribe. Join the conversation on Facebook. Search for the Power Play Post Show and become part of our community. Be sure to like, comment, and share our latest episodes with your friends. Looking for everything Binghamton Hockey? Visit binghamtonhockey.net, your go-to source for stats, history, and all things Binghamton Hockey. And let's get right to it, Taylor. Let's talk a little bit about what is transpiring right now as we're talking. As we're recording this here on Wednesday night, he's playing in the game. Let's talk a little bit about Gavin.
So, as Bobby's already mentioned at the beginning of the show, Gavin Yates gets the call to the ECHL. For the first time in his career, Gavin Yates will play in the ECHL for the Adirondack Thunder, making the second player from the Binghamton Black Bears to play for the Thunder this season and making their ECHL debut. Mac Jansen was called up on December 5th and then returned on December 6th. He played in one game for the Thunder. The eighth-year pro, Yates has been a mainstay here in Binghamton for the last 5 seasons and ranks in the top 5 in Binghamton Black Bears franchise offense categories. This season, Yates has 14 goals, 16 assists for 30 points, and has been a big impact on the power play with 7 man-up goals. It is unknown how long this loan/call-up will be, but the Thunder are on the road tonight and Friday night in Reading versus the Royals. The Black Bears will host the Danbury Hat Tricks again Friday and Saturday.
Okay, so obviously, congratulations to Gavin. I did have a chance to message him a little bit earlier today. He thanked me for congratulating him, and I said, go up there and score a goal. And he said, I feel one in me right now. So hopefully that happens. What's amazing to me, Taylor, is in the 8 years that he's been playing, he's played some in the SPHL, he's played a lot in the FPHL, obviously a mainstay here in Binghamton the last 5 years. This is his first look-see up in the ECHL, and I'm just very happy for him, but man, a little bit surprised at it that the ECHL didn't come calling and looking for a guy like him who can skate so well, and when he does feel it inside of him, he can score goals at any level.
It's pretty funny to me because, at the beginning of the season, we made comments about, he's not the young, spry guy he was, and maybe he's starting to skate a little bit slower than, several years ago. And, he comes into this season, he seems to be on fire, and now he's in the ECHL. So it's just like, we're maybe knocking him for getting older and his age, but he's still showing up and he's still putting points out, and it's been amazing.
And what's crazy about all that, and first of all, let's be perfectly honest, it was me who made the comment about him maybe not being as spry and his whatever. There were talks that we didn't know if Gavin was coming back and playing hockey this year, right? And so the fact that he comes back has such a great start to this season, and now he's up in ECHL. It's amazing. It's awesome for him. I'm so I am literally tickled pink happy for him when I saw that. I didn't think, oh crap, for the Black Bears. Didn't think that 1 second. All I thought was, this is awesome for Gavin Yates.
Yeah, I honestly don't think the fans felt any, oh no, we're losing him, for this weekend or for longer. I think everybody is just so ecstatic for him to get the call up that it's not even like, oh, he's not playing with us, Friday at least Friday.
Yeah.
It's awesome to have a fan base that is so supportive of these guys moving up or playing in a different league and just kind of living out their dreams. It's awesome.
No, it really is. And again, pretty sure he's playing tonight. Of course, I know he's playing tonight. I was listening to Rob Lapolis call the game with the Thunder before we started recording at 8:00. I was listening to the end of the first period and listened through the intermission to listen to Rob, who is awesome. He's the MC of the Power Play Post Show. Great guy, great dude, great radio guy. But we do know that he's probably going to play Friday as well with Adirondack. They have lost guys to the Utica Comets in the AHL, and that's going to last a little bit longer than just one game. So good for Gavin. Happy for him. Hopefully he gets a goal either tonight. I know he's playing with Kyle Hitzenzer. I know I don't say that correctly, but another gentleman from the ECHL from the FPHL who got called up to Adirondack as well. So 2 FPHL guys on the same line for Adirondack tonight. So that's really, really cool.
Yeah, to see them on the same line was interesting. I know Jeremy had shown me that, but
yeah.
I think I don't know like what Heitzner's numbers look like by any means because I haven't paid much attention to other teams, but it's got to be really interesting to have, somebody else from a different team in not only the league that you're playing in, but also your division. And now you're both on an ECHL team playing together on the same line. That's got to be really interesting and just awesome.
They're both pros. I guarantee you they are just happy for each other. And, I think that's really what it comes down to. You got to be happy for each other. And listen, Adirondack could have called an SPHL team. They could have, but they don't need to now. There's a bigger point to this that is more important than anything else. The ECHL is now comfortable enough with the players in the FPHL because the FPHL has grown so much in the last 4 or 5 years. And this is the truth. And a big part of this is what they did in Athens, what they're doing here in Binghamton, with the play, what they're doing in teams like Monroe and Topeka. They are proving to the ECHL that you can go and pull players. They can go up there and be productive and help out when needed. And that's the whole point. You don't need to just call the SPHL to get players to be called up and get that look-see and also just to fill in, right? And to be responsible and to get on the ice and not cost your team, which is a good thing. So, the tide is changing a little bit for the FPHL. The way they're being looked at now by the ECHL is a lot different than it was before.
Yeah, I think the league continues to kind of look better each year. No, it's got its rough bumps here and there, and there's things where you're like, oh, well, that's a downer for the league. But in all honesty, the things like this happening and these guys getting the call-ups, even if it's for a game, for a weekend, for a couple months, for a season, whatever it might be, it's got to be a great feeling for not only those guys, but the team that they're on and just the league overall.
Yeah, because the next thing we're going to talk about maybe isn't so positive. The FPHL suspends Austin D'Orazio for 2 games for the elbow on Anton Rubtsov. We're going to give our thoughts on this, but is there a consistency on how the suspensions are dealt out? Taylor, let's start there because I don't think there is. Because I think there's a little bit of a difference between an elbow to the face and a cross-check squarely to the face, a 2-handed cross-check to the face, like what happened with Vadim Frolov to Zachary Demarais. And I just don't see how both of those are 2-game suspensions each. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I think for most people, consistency is the big issue. But if they're going to have what we view as inconsistency, then they would have to either come out and be like, well, we gave him 2 games because it was a hit to the head. And then either way you look at it, both of those hits were 2 hits to the head.
Yes.
So the one that Frolov did was a hit to the head, and the one that D'Orazio did was a hit to the head. And then you can be like, oh, well, that's the consistency. But they don't do that kind of thing. They very loosely be like, oh, this is what happened in the game, and that's the reason why. But it just the inconsistency is, oh, well, that was an intent to injure because there was no hockey play that was after the whistle. It was this kind of thing. Or the Durazio one, it was in the play. There was after a puck. Did he lift his arm? Maybe. Was it necessary? No, but you were in the middle of a play. It happened. The Frolov thing definitely wasn't. So there's the inconsistency there.
Mm-hmm.
But if they just blatantly came out and been like, oh, well, we gave him 2 because it was a hit to the head, then maybe it wouldn't be such a, we wouldn't talk about it as much about being so inconsistent. But definitely the consistency is off. And I think that's the issue that the fans have.
Yeah. And I think, the fan reaction is never positive in this sense, especially when it comes to suspensions on Binghamton players, because it always seems like it never makes sense. When you look at the other suspensions for other teams, and I'm sure other teams feel like they're being targeted by the FPHL in some cases. But I don't know. I think in some cases, maybe some people get off easy, like Josh Rosenvig with the aggressor penalty. He only got a 1-game suspension, and yet it's different for Durazio here. This was his first time offense. I rewatched that multiple times, as I talked about in the post that I made about it. And you can see him look at Rubtsov and then literally raise his elbow. I don't understand that move. I'm not sure why he did that. It's nothing that we've seen from him at all. And he did it. And it just doesn't make sense to me. So I understand the suspension. I don't understand the difference between 2 games for an elbow, which elbows, you can get a 2-minute minor for elbowing. And in this particular case, they gave him a 5-minute major and a game misconduct. Okay, I was like, all right, fine. You know what? They wanted to kick him out of the game. They wanted to put Binghamton down for 5 minutes. I understood that part. I totally got that. But then when you turn around and give him 2 games suspension, where, I would like to see the write-up from Dave Jackson of how he explains why he gave him 2 games when you can get a 2-minute minor for elbowing and not get suspended for it. Like, where do you draw the line? What is the line there? And yeah, someone can use a stick as a weapon, like Frolov did, and get suspended for 2 games as well. It doesn't make sense to me at all.
Yeah, I think it doesn't make sense to a lot of people. I know when we had originally talked about it, there was a comment made, well, maybe Durazio did something, after the whistle, like, he ran his mouth off to the ref.
No.
Or, he did something afterwards. Didn't. But the ref blows the whistle, and Durazio literally he's standing still. His arms are at his side, and he's just standing there.
And he goes to the box, and he doesn't say anything. You can watch him on the video. He's just literally sitting there as Johnny, I think it was Johnny Ruiz and Tyson Kirkby were standing and talking in front of the penalty box. The referees go in and out to review it, and Durazio doesn't say anything. He's not derogatory. He's not. He's not
losing his mind, throwing his stick, throwing his gloves, having a hissy fit. He's just sitting there.
Right, exactly. So I don't understand how he gets 2 games for that. Now, again, I totally will say he looks at Rubtsov, he raises his elbow for sure. But to say that is equivalent to 2 games, you're almost saying. And this is why I'd love to see what Dave Jackson said about this. And we haven't seen anything be posted by the FPHL, because when it comes to Binghamton, a lot of times when there is a suspension, sometimes magically it's not talked about and it's not released. And I don't understand why that is. Again, I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist. I'm not like the vice president of this country, who is a conspiracy theorist, apparently. I'm trying not to be one in this case, right? And that's a joke, guys. Please do not send me any political garbage. I was just joking. I mean, he says he is one, but whatever. I just don't understand how you give him 2 games here. If you want to suspend him because he's a Binghamton player, then fine, 1 game. But 2 games, when 3 weeks before that, 4 weeks before that, you have a guy on the same team that we were playing against cross-check one of our guys with a stick to the face, used it as a weapon. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't think anybody else does either.
But the fan reaction has been pretty interesting. Some people are just, they just don't understand it. I want to read this one comment from Matthew Cole. In a vacuum, I'm okay with carelessness to the head getting you a weekend away from the rink. But like Gary said, the context of the other plays that also got 2 games makes the suspension guidelines feel more like they came from a rolling of the dice than some sort of flowchart or guidelines. That's what has me angry. It wouldn't be hard to make a guidelines document and publish it so everyone knows how you're coming to this particular number. And that's kind of what you said as well. It's like if we understood where you were coming from, maybe we wouldn't be so upset about it. And unfortunately, we're not. And that's still the problem with this league at this point. That is the part of this that just doesn't make sense. And I know people argue about NHL suspensions every once in a while, but this one just doesn't make sense to me at all.
Yeah, it seems like they need some kind of transparency when it comes to suspensions and how they're dealt or why they're dealt. And, the reality is we get maybe a 2-sentence explanation on what happened, and half the time it tells you absolutely nothing.
Well, I'm going to go to the website right now, right? And I will, let me look here, okay? They still do not have...
It hasn't been updated since I looked.
Yeah. So the last suspension report was on 12/6. So there's nothing about... Now, you just had a guy got slammed into the boards down in Athens, or it was one of the Athens players that got into the boards. I don't know. It looked absolutely gross. The guy who did it, I think, got 5 games, right? He got a 5-game suspension, right? You would
think. I'm not sure without looking.
Let's see here. I'm looking. Oh, it's 4 games, right? So the PD Ice Cats player got 4 games for it, right? You would think that there should be an explanation. Where's the explanation? Why can't we get this on a consistent basis? Because the FPHL isn't consistent. All right. Before I lose my cool, we're going to move on. Cameron Cervone can slot back into the lineup for these 2 games. Obviously, that's good. But who takes Austin's place on the power play? A decision Brent Sherwood needs to make. But he has a lot of choices. If it's not a defenseman, I'd be interested because I think the power play really started to kick off good when they put Dan Stone and Austin D'Orazio onto the power play unit number 1. I think that really made it click very well. So I'll be interested to see who slots in there. Is it a Scott Romikers who's got the forward tendencies but has also been playing defense lately? It'll be interesting to see who takes, first of all, D'Orazio's place with Dan Stone, and who takes his place on the power play.
Yeah, this has been kind of rattling my brain all day about, what the lines could possibly look like. And in just my opinion, I feel like Ramikers would pair up with Stone, and I feel like he could take his, Austin's spot on the power play.
Right.
But I also feel like you could even, depending on how the rest of the lineup looks, even slide even Emery in there because he also has that defense and forward. It's so nice that we have a lot of these guys that you can really kind of plug into these places when needed, and you can still get a performance out of them and still get what they're needed to do in the game to get you the outcome, which is you always want to win. Agreed.
You could have Emery or Ramikers actually slot in there somewhere. I could definitely see Dan Stone, because I still think you need to split up Dan Stone, Jesse Anderson, and Dan Weber. Having them on 3 separate lines for the D pairings, I think is still the smartest way to go. And then you fit, maybe Cervone goes back in with Weber, right? Chichu stays with Jesse, and then, like you said, Scott Ramikers with Dan Stone. I think that makes sense, right?
That's how I would do it.
Yeah. But we're not Brent Sherwood.
Which is fine by me.
Yes.
Perfectly fine by me.
Yes, we still both agree 100%, 110%. We do not want to be in Brent Sherwood's shoes. All right, let's move on to some non-Black Bears related news.
The Danbury Hat Tricks have traded Vadim Frolov to the PD Ice Cats for defensive Austin Pickford and for the rights of Imantis Norica, who is currently playing for the Quaid City Storm in the SPHL. This move strengthens the Danbury defense a little bit, but also moves Frolov to PD. Frolov was the player who was suspended 2 games for the vicious two-handed cross-check to the Black Bears' Zachary Desmarais, which we've already talked about a little bit ago.
Yep.
The Black Bears should still see Frolov when PD and Binghamton meet for 2 games at the Visions Veterans Memorial Arena on January 23rd and 24th.
So how funny is it that D'Orazio gets suspended for 2 games? We have to compare that suspension to Frolov's, and then on basically the same day that we're going to do the show, Frolov gets traded, or the day before he gets traded to PD from Danbury, which means he doesn't play this upcoming weekend for the Hat Tricks against Binghamton. Fine. Okay. They bring in Austin Pickford, who is a little bit, he's an okay defenseman. You remember him from the Elmira River Sharks days where literally he fought every other game. He hasn't done that this season at all. So it'll be interesting to see Pickford in a different role, playing more defense and less of the physical aggressor kind of play. And then obviously we'll see Frolov again in January.
Yeah, them picking up Pickford was kind of interesting in my eyes, just because Danbury, to me, they have a very certain style of player. Like if you look at their players, it looks like they belong in Danbury.
Yeah.
And Pickford, to me, doesn't really fit that role. Like he doesn't look like he belongs in Danbury. So it's a very interesting thing. And yeah, I haven't paid much attention to him since the Elmira days, where, he was kind of more of a pest than he was anything else. At least that's how I remember it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see, kind of if he helps Danbury in any way or if he doesn't.
Well, Brant Sherwood has said to Brooks Hill, and Brooks has talked about it on the broadcast a couple different times, that he feels that the Hat Tricks had pretty good forwards. I think what they were lacking is a lot in defense. And I think we can all agree on that. They haven't been able to slow down the Binghamton offense that much, right? They've kept a couple games close. They've scored a few goals on us each game. Actually, technically, every single game we've played against them, they've scored 3 goals, except for the 2 games down in Danbury, right? So with that being said, does Pickford help them at all? We'll see. I'm not really sure right now, but I guess we'll find out this weekend if Pickford helps at all.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to find out, especially because our roster could be, hit or miss depending, if Yates is coming back, if he's not coming back. So it'll be fun.
Yeah. 100%. All right. The Black Bears announced 6,126 bears thrown on the ice for a teddy bear toss scored by Nick Swain. Okay. So comparing this to the other seasons, in 2022, the Black Bears got 1,267 bears thrown on the ice from their fans. In 2023, 1,300 plus. That's literally how the Black Bears reported it. And in 2024, 2,092 bears. But then just last weekend, 2025, 6,126 bears. All of the stuffed animals are going to be donated to the Crime Victims Assistance Center, which basically how that works, from how I understand it, is whenever there is a crime or victim that has a child involved or around the situation, they give them a stuffed bear to hopefully make the child feel a little bit better. It's honestly a very sweet and very awesome program that Broome County has that is really great. And now they have a lot of bears in their cupboard, I guess, so to speak, or in bags somewhere that they can go and grab a teddy bear and give it to a child when something maybe not so great is happening at that time. So this is a really good cause, and I really, really support it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very sad circumstance, but it's very awesome that, Binghamton really showed up this year. And I mean, it took forever to get those Bears off the ice, and I think Danbury was kind of feeling that. I think it made the game worse for Danbury, in my opinion. I think they were kind of lacking after that. But it was awesome to watch that many Bears fly.
Yeah.
It just felt like it just kept going and going and going.
And I think what it does, I mean, last year it was great for Cam Clark. He scores a hat trick. And then, of course, Nick Swain this year, maybe not feeling it completely. All of a sudden, boom, gets that one goal. All the teddy bears come down. Nick Swain has the biggest smile on it, without a doubt. No doubt in my mind, that night, Saturday night, no one had a big smile on their bigger smile on their face all game long, after the game, during the game, than Nick Swain. I think he really, really needed a night like that, and I think that's awesome for him.
Yeah, I mean, you get the teddy bear goal, and then you get 3 more goals on top of that one. It's he really showed up, and I think I don't know anybody who wouldn't be smiling after a game like that. But it's very nice to see him finally kind of getting into a groove of things, and starting to really throw up some points. 4 goals in one game is definitely impressive. So I think it was very deserving. I think people have kind of been waiting for him to start getting some goals. I don't think anybody expected 4 in one game, so I think he threw everybody through a loop on that one. But it's awesome to see these guys, like anybody on any line, stepping up and getting these kind of goals. It's great to see.
It is. It really is. Okay, so a little bit of sad news coming out just as we were starting to record the show. A couple big surprises on the transaction wire, but the one I think that everyone is kind of talking about a little bit is the release of Raul Sharma from Indiana. Apparently he got released. He is beloved by a lot of fan bases. A lot of people like this guy. He is a very nice guy. I have had a very nice conversation with him at the Visions Veterans Memorial Arena. He's got such a great personality about him. His sister does a really cool podcast where they just talk about life and just positivity and things of that nature. So it doesn't surprise me that he is who he is after watching his sister's podcast. But yeah, that news has just come out, so I figured I'd bring that up. And I know that you guys sit down by where the backup goalies sit that often. You've probably seen Sharma and the way he interacts with fans. He's just really great.
Oh yeah, he's pretty much. I mean, even on the ice, he's pretty much just smiling all the time. All the time. It doesn't matter what is going. Their team could be losing 10-0, and he's still smiling ear to ear. Like it really doesn't matter what's going on. He's all smiles. He does interact with the fans constantly. Not a ton of backup goalies do. There are a couple where you can get them here and there to kind of talk back with you, or to have that friendly banter going back and forth. Really the only other goalie that's done it is McCollum. He used to go back and forth pretty good. He had a lot of fun banter. But yeah, Sharma, it was definitely just a super nice guy, would talk to anybody, and honestly just ear to ear smiling the entire game.
I agree. Okay, so Taylor, let's go back in time a little bit. You want to go back in time? Let's go back in time, right?
Let's go back in time.
All right, let's listen to something that just happened a couple weeks ago.
They found a way to fit all those guys in the salary cap, which I'm impressed with. It was a great job by them.
Well, first of all, Chris Paulin, happy birthday. I know you're probably not listening. I really kind of hope you do listen and get a laugh out of this, but happy birthday. But yes, Chris Paulin said that he was impressed on how they were getting all those guys under the salary cap. Now, of course, all those guys under the salary cap is because of one, Brant Sherwood, and of course Andreas Johansson, who obviously has to sign the checks and everything. Well, they don't get checks, but you understand what I'm going with there. Taylor created this beautiful piece of art. It's a hat that's upside down with the word salary on it, salary cap, and has all the players nested inside of that salary cap. And what a great piece of art. You posted it on the Binghamton Black Bears fan page, and great reaction from all the fans. I think they really loved it, and you did a phenomenal job. But we couldn't do that without, obviously, Chris Paulin.
Yeah, it's been so fun to kind of joke about, what Chris Paulin has said. And, we've been having such a great time with it. And I think the fans have really enjoyed listening to it as well. And when I had the idea pop into my head, I wanted to jump on it immediately. And I seriously have to thank you because every single picture that I used was one of yours.
That's cool. That's cool.
And it worked out really well because I was really nervous about how I was going to try to make it look like these guys were literally, sitting in the cap.
Yeah.
At least the front row there.
Yeah, the front row looks great.
You take pictures from the other side of the arena to get the bench.
Yes.
So, and honestly, my favorite part about the whole thing is the way Tyson is sitting.
Yes.
It is my favorite part of the whole graphic is the way Tyson is sitting.
Because it's like he's perfectly
he really just kind of brings it all together.
Yeah, no, he's perfectly sitting in the cap, and that's just him on the bench.
And yeah, so I used 2 photos from the bench, and then the rest are just, random pictures that you've taken of the guys on the ice.
Yeah.
I did redo the graphic. If you haven't seen it, I did post the new graphic. It's got a green hat. I kind of cleaned it up a little bit. I redid all the players, and I added Shankar in there because he wasn't in the original one. So I have all the players in this hat. The only player not in there is Tim Kim because he got loaned.
Yeah, he's technically up in the SPHL. He's been there for a while. Probably going to be there for a while longer, so that's okay. I mean, there are pictures of Tim Kim, but this is great. What's amazing is I think that I think Connor McAnanima is taking up the most space. I know he's a goaltender, and it makes sense, but I think it's just the way the picture is. It looks like he's taking up the most space.
Yeah, the goaltenders were the hardest part for me.
Really?
Just because the way that, so for Apple, like the app that I use it's on an iPad.
Yeah.
So I can take your picture. I take a screenshot, and if I click on the person, it highlights them, and then I can just paste them right onto my graphic.
Yeah.
And yeah, the goalies do take up a lot of freaking room. So I cleaned them up as much as I could, but I was trying to make it so you could still see a good portion of them and still be able to see their number or be able to tell who it was. Just by a quick glance. I didn't want anybody struggling to be like, who's that?
Yeah.
Which I think at this point, it'd be pretty hard to do. I think everybody knows who everyone is on the team. But I definitely had a lot of fun putting it together. It was a lot easier the second time. The second time it just seemed like they meshed really well together and I got them to fit pretty good. But it was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to creating some more. I've got to get some more ideas in my head.
Yeah.
But I will definitely be turning that into a poster, and it will be at the next Sport Huron game. And maybe we can get Chris Paulin to sign it at the end. Who knows?
Oh, that would
we'll
be
have to
great.
See about that.
That would be awesome if we could do that. Listen, I'll talk to Will Wilkelman from the Port Huron Prowlers if they see the humor and the good fun in it. Because listen. One of the best parts of this season so far has been kind of the rivalry between Port Huron and Binghamton, right? It's been a little one-sided, I guess. Binghamton is, obviously the last 2 wins really didn't fare well for the Prowlers, but at least in the first weekend, there was the split of the 2 games. But there was a lot of hype going into those games that we created probably on our end a little bit, just because they were the number 2 team in the division. But this was just a lot of fun. Listen, he provided the material. He provided the quotes. I mean, there was the one.
They found a way to fit all those guys in the salary cap, which I'm impressed with. It was a great job by them.
Which we were talking about. And then, of course, the one that is my absolute favorite.
Yeah, I think it's nice that they're very fat and happy over there.
Only because he kind of pauses for a second and says, fat and happy over there. It's just so it was a lot of fun. And I'm sure, some of it was said in jest because, he had just lost. And those are the post-game comments from Chris. But happy birthday, Chris. Seriously. Will, if you hear this, let Chris know we definitely wish him a happy birthday. And hopefully he had a great day today. It's a great graphic. I can't wait to see it in poster form. I just want to also throw out there are a couple people that also made signs about fat and happy and, fitting in the salary cap. So great stuff. I'm so glad that you guys are listening to us and having fun with it, because if you don't have fun with it, what are we even doing here? Because this was hilarious. You did such a good job. I almost want my own little 8x10 of it and put it on the wall. I think it's great. I think it's awesome.
I mean, I'll print one off for you if you really want one. I'll make it happen.
I kind of do. Well, it'd be the first thing that pictures I took, and would be on my own wall for. I mean, I don't. Well, no, I've taken some pictures. I don't know if any of the hockey pictures that I've ever taken are printed and are displayed in my own house. Isn't that weird? I've been taking pictures of players in the Binghamton Senators since those days. I don't think I have any of these pictures of anybody. I'm trying to think now. No. At least not of players on the ice. I've got pictures of media people that I've taken pictures with that are in my studio here. And I've got a huge... Well, there are pictures of me interviewing players, but there's none of them on the ice that I took pictures of. So either way, great graphic. Thank you. Thank you for also having a good sense of humor about it too, and letting me bring it up.
Listen, it was a lot of fun to create, and I wanted, because I remember I showed Jeremy, and I had said something about I had used all your pictures, and he's like, "Did you tell Bobby you were using his pictures?" I was like, "No, I sent him the graphic, and I told him I used his pictures, and I gave him the option of posting it himself, or if he wanted me to." And
it's your listen. It's a collaborate. Listen, the way I look at it is you and I collaborated, right? I took all these pictures, and then you put together this, and you're part of the Power Play post show, so this is the way I see it, and it's great. I'm totally cool with it. If somebody else did that, I would be like, "Hey, come on." But it's you, so it's absolutely okay. Very, very good.
I was so excited about it. I remember messaging you like, "I can't wait for you to see what I'm working on," and I hadn't even started yet. Like, I was so excited about doing it that I was like, I just wanted to message you immediately to be like, "I can't wait for you to see what I'm doing right now."
I got to be honest with you, the Apple sticker thing, where when you push on a certain object and it creates the little sticker, it's a great little feature.
Awesome.
It's a great.
It is awesome.
It's a great.
It saves me a lot of time. Let me tell you.
I believe it. All right, let's get into the two upcoming games this weekend.
Black Bears versus Hat Tricks preview. 2 more games at the Visions Veterans Memorial Arena on Friday and Saturday night. The Black Bears and the Hat Tricks have played 7 games so far this season. The Black Bears hold victories in all 7 of those games. October 17th in Binghamton, a 6-3 win. October 18th in Danbury, a 3-0 shutout win for CMAC. November 21st in Binghamton, a 6-3 win. A Mac Jansen hat trick. November 22nd in Danbury, a 5-1 win, 2 goals for Austin Thompson. November 26th in Binghamton, a 6-3 win. Stubbs and DeRazio with hat tricks. December 12th in Danbury, a 3-2 win in the shootout. CJ Stubbs' 7th game winner. And December 13th in Binghamton, 8-3 win, a 4-goal night for Nick Swain.
Now, what's amazing about this, Taylor, is that every single game in Binghamton, every single game in Binghamton so far, the hat tricks have still found a way to score 3 goals.
Yeah, that's why I made the comment. We got to score at least 4 or more.
4 or more. I mean, 6-3, 6-3, 6-3, 8-3. It's just insane to me that can happen. So this weekend, are the hat tricks going to score 6 goals this weekend?
I feel like maybe, because they haven't changed their offense and their forwards. They've changed their defense up a little bit, so we'll see if that has any kind of factor. But honestly, I could be possible. I feel like it's been kind of the same people scoring. I don't actually know that without actually looking.
Sure.
But I forget. Now I can't think of the name.
Legoff?
No, not Legoff. Robinson. Noah Robinson. I feel like he's been a big name. That's, he's either an assist or a goal or
part of a play that kind of like maybe is a little physical, or he's trying to get something going for his team. It seems like Noah Robinson's a part of that play usually.
Yeah. He's definitely, I've noticed him on the ice more than I would care to, I guess would be the way to put that.
Yeah. And I think Legoff is a little bit more sneaky. Like if you're looking for him and watching him, you notice him, but sometimes he sneaks up and he scores goals when you really don't notice it. Where Noah Robinson, I think, is a little bit more noticeable on the ice. I think it's just because he's a little bit more physical, a little bit more gritty than Legoff is, but Legoff definitely has the scoring touch.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. This is the first weekend where both games will be played in the same arena this weekend in Binghamton. The Black Bears are 19-2-0 with 55 points, first in the Empire Division. They have scored 106 goals and have only allowed 50.
Only team to go over 100 goals so far.
That's impressive.
It is.
Do you know who the next closest one is? Is it Monroe? Because they've got they had 20 goals in the last weekend.
You know what? I should check that before I actually make that a statement that Binghamton's the only team with over that. So let me check that real quick because that's a very good point. Yep, Monroe has 107 goals now. So that 20.
Oh, they beat us by 1.
I thought they were the most. I thought Black Bears had the most, and Monroe with those 20. What was it? 23 goals? Yeah, 12 and 11. I think they scored. So yeah, 23 goals. They jumped up that far. So yeah, pretty impressive.
That's crazy.
It
yeah,
is.
12 and 10. They had 12 and 10. So
okay.
22 goals.
22 goals. Crazy.
Yeah, so that really helped them get up there.
All right, so we're second in the league with scoring. I'm sorry.
That's so funny. They beat us by 1.
Yeah.
The Hat Tricks are 9-9-3 with 29 points, fourth in the Empire Division. They have scored 78 goals and have only allowed 80. The Black Bears are on a 10-game winning streak. The Hat Tricks come into the weekend losing the last 2 games to Binghamton.
Yeah, so Binghamton's on this little winning streak, right? And so talking about this for just a few seconds, they got 2 more games against Danbury coming up. Obviously, they've beat Danbury in all 7 games so far, right? So, we can easily say, well, it's possible that they win 2 more games. But then after that, they've got 5 straight games against the Watertown Wolves. And they've beat the Wolves, I think, 5 times already. We could be seeing a team that's going to be close to what they did last year when they went 18 games on an 18-game winning streak before they lost down in Blue Ridge. So there's a very good chance that we could be at 17 straight games before we get to the next decent, well, really maybe not decent opponent, but they might be playing better by then, which would be the Thunderbirds.
Yeah, I mean, the Wolves have kind of made some moves. I know they got Graspy back, so that might be somebody to kind of watch out for.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting. I think Watertown's going to be a different opponent than the last time we faced them. But at the same time, I feel like the Black Bears, even if they're down by a goal, 2 goals, whatever, they find a way to come back and, squeak out a win, or just come in and dominate the whole game.
I think they've done that
seems like
3 times this year, right? Where they've been down by 2 goals, twice against Danbury, once against somebody else, and they've come back. I think Port Huron once, right? So down by 2 goals and then come back and win the game. So they've done it at least 3 times this year.
Yeah, it just seems like they have the mindset and the mentality of they're going to come out with a win, or they're going to put their all to make sure that they at least tried with everything they had.
Nope, absolutely. All right, the Black Bears are led by CJ Stubbs, 21 games played. He's got 13 goals, 28 assists for 41 points, 5 power play goals, 1 shorthanded goal, and 7 game-winning goals. Ivan Bondarenko, 21 games played, 7 goals, 29 assists, and 36 points, and 1 power play goal. I would have to say, Taylor, that Bondarenko's impact on this team has been so great. He has probably got more primary assists, so the first assist before the goal is scored, than anybody on the team. I think without Bondarenko, the scoring on this team would probably be reduced by 20% because he has been so good at finding the player to score a goal so many times this season.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I absolutely love watching him skate into the zone, and he is looking for the person that he's going to pass the puck to. There's been a couple times where I wish he would just take the shot himself, but he seems it's almost like a Tyson situation to me, where like Tyson knows when to take the shot himself or when he's going to try to get somebody else to score.
Yeah.
And Bondarenko really seems to know how to set people up.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been a couple times where, there hasn't been a guy right where you wanted him. And it's been one of those, the fans are like, oh, that dreading noise that you hear, like when, Gavin Yates hits the post or something like that. But yeah, he's been just absolutely phenomenal in getting the puck where it needs to be and setting people up. For him to have 29 assists does not surprise me at all.
Yeah. All right. I left Gavin Yates on here because we could see Gavin obviously on Saturday night if he comes back after the Friday night game from Adirondack. But Gavin Yates, 19 games played, 14 goals, 16 assists, 30 points, 7 power play goals. He's been so good on the power play, and 1 game-winning goal for the Black Bears. Then Connor McAnanama, he's 10-1-0 with a 2.43 goals against average and an 899 save percentage. Dominic Tumay, 7-1-0 with a 2.01 goals against average and a 930 save percentage. The hat tricks are led by Alexander Legoff, who is in 21 games played, has 16 goals, 21 assists, 37 points. Seems like he'd fit right in with Binghamton, 1 game-winning goal. Johnny Ruiz, 16 games played, 9 goals, 10 assists for 19 points and 3 power play goals. And I will say this, he was injured for about 4 or 5 games this season, and he is still kind of picked up where he left off, which is pretty nice for him. I do respect Johnny Ruiz and like watching him play on the ice. Noah Robinson, Taylor and I were talking about him earlier. 19 games played, 8 goals, 10 assists for 18 points, 3 power play goals, 1 shorthanded goal, 3 game-winning goals. And there you go, Taylor. He's involved in a little bit of everything, right? He's on the penalty kill. He's on the power play. He scores impactful goals for the hat tricks. He's a guy you really got to look out for.
And he's almost got a point a game, so that makes sense there too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it all makes sense now.
It really does. He's all over the ice for the hat tricks. Sebastian Razar, 7-3-2 with a 3.21 goals against average and a 926 save percentage. And even though he did not kind of lose his cool like he normally does, Sebastian Razar had some moments where he looked really good last weekend. We'll see how he does this upcoming weekend when they face the Black Bears again here at the arena for 2 games. Binghamton's power play ranked second. We dipped down just a little bit because the Saturday night game we went 0 for 8, dipped down to second place, 34 power play goals, 25%. PK still ranked first, 9 power play goals against, 91%. We only gave up 1 power play goal all of last weekend to Danbury, so that was good. Danbury's power play ranked 12th, 17 power play goals, 15% conversion rate. The PK is ranked 5th with 18 power play goals against and an 83%. So luckily next week when we do our preview show for the next set of games, Taylor, we'll be talking about Watertown and not Danbury.
Yeah, and then, a couple weeks after that, you'll be sick and tired of talking about Watertown. You'll wish we can talk about Danbury again. But
No.
I haven't minded talking about Danbury. It hasn't been too rough. And, they have got a lot of good guys on their team. And I know everybody, fan base, teams, league, respects Johnny Ruiz like no tomorrow.
Right.
And Sebastian Razar to me is always going to look like a pretty boy. He takes his mask off way too much. And he has a pretty boy face. I don't know what it is about it, but he reminds me of somebody from a movie I saw and I can't ever get it out of my head now.
Well, you think Mac Jansen's a TV star.
I do. He's Chad Michael Murray. He's my One Tree Hill guy. I saw that and I can't unsee that too, but, it's just one of those things. They start to look like certain people, and then he's always going to be Chad Michael Murray to me now.
Yeah, and to me, CJ Stubbs looks like Dan Weber, and that's how I connect the two.
Well, in your defense, he did have a Weber jersey on the first time you met him,
and they kind of looked alike. The hairstyle was very similar, and I'm like going, yeah, I'll never live that down, and I won't stop bringing it up because I don't usually make those mistakes, and I so made that mistake, but. With that being said, CJ still talks to me, and so does Dan Weber. So I'm doing it right there.
Well, the Weaver thing doesn't surprise me. He seems like a talker, and you've met the rest of his family, so it really shouldn't surprise you there.
No.
I've never talked to CJ Stubbs, so I wouldn't know that part. But the Weavers, they like to talk, and they're a lot of fun.
Yes, they are. Very much so. All right. The Power Play Post is available on all major podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, YouTube, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Just search Power Play Post Show on your favorite app, and don't forget to subscribe. And to be honest with you, we're almost up to 200 followers on Spotify, which is pretty cool. And I know that the majority of those people listen. And then there's other people that are listening that are not subscribed to Spotify, which is kind of nuts. Join the conversation on Facebook and search Power Play Post Show and become part of our community. Looking for everything Binghamton Hockey, visit binghamtonhockey.net. Thank you to Rob Lapolis, our MC, and our Adirondack broadcaster, which is pretty cool. John Petitucci, our music director. I am Bob Howard. She is
Taylor Welch.
And we'll talk to you guys next time right here on the Power Play Post Show.
Thanks for listening to this edition of the Power Play Post Show. Be sure to tune in next week to the Box Studios Radio Network for all the latest Black Bears news and interviews from around minor league hockey. The Power Play Post Show would like to thank John Patitucci for all the music you hear on the show. You've been listening to the Power Play Post Show.